Well, hello. Welcome to the Art of Renovation Live. I'm Paul Foster from Renovations and Custom Homes. This week we are talking about custom furniture and design, and we're speaking with Kelvin Soo. He's a local, I'll call him an artist because there's no other real way to explain what he does. He is a furniture maker. He does finishing carpentry, but whatever he does, it's remarkable, and it's very much outside of the box. Speaking of outside of the box, so we do a giveaway every week, and Kelvin's really raised the bar here. He is offering a custom coffee table that will be made for you, custom by him, ready for pickup in about 4 to 6 weeks. So this thing would generally sell for about $2,000, and he's offering one as a giveaway item today during the show. So pretty amazing. So I'm going to introduce Kelvin here, and we'll bring him on, and we'll chat all about what he does and how you can plan to incorporate custom furniture into your home, whether you're renovating or building, or you just want to get some nice furniture. I think it's something worth considering. So I'll give more details about how to enter for the draw in a bit after we get Kelvin introduced and onto the show here. So Kelvin Soo, furniture designer, maker, and artist. For anybody that knows Kelvin and his work, you know what I mean when I say his stuff is remarkable. Kelvin's work epitomizes the term custom. Each piece he creates for his clients are designed and built as a true reflection of his client. His process, which we'll talk about in a bit here, is very much one that he explores the client and learns and understands what they want, and he makes it for them fully raw, fully for them, and we'll talk about that a bit later. His creativity is unrivaled, and his dedication to quality of work and attention to detail is exceptional. So without further ado here, I better see if I got him, and I'll get him to join up here. Kelvin, if you're watching, just send me a wave. I see Sabrina, must be your sister. I don't see you yet following, so hopefully you can tune in soon here, and we'll get you pulled into the show. In the meantime, I'm going to pull up some information here. Give me a sec. I'll grab a photo of. So the giveaway item from Kelvin, this is an image of one similar he's made before, but this is not what we're actually giving. But we needed a photo to provide. So that's what he's made earlier. Coffee table, fully custom. It's oak, as you can see, that looks fully reclaimed. So that will be similar to what you might get from Kelvin, but we don't know because his stuff is always one of a kind. So let's see here. If somebody knows Kelvin, maybe you can send him a text message and say to tune in, because I don't see him following the show, and I can't invite him to join until I see him. In the meantime, Sylvia Sue, I'm assuming you're a sibling. So let's talk a bit. Whoa, that's not what I wanted to do. Bear with me. Okay, so the giveaway today. So you just need to enter into the comments what material the table will be made of, what type of wood. So if you know, then enter it, and you can enter into the draw. Once we get Kelvin onto the show, we'll talk a bit more about the table, and I'll give you some very subtle clues, or maybe they're obvious clues about what material it is. Oak. Oh, there we go. Hold on, I got a message. Oh, we're looking for a phone number for Kelvin. Bear with me here. The joy of the live show, you just never know how it's going to go. Do I see him on here yet? No, I don't. All right, well, let's move along here. I will send a message out here to Kelvin to get him to join up, and in the meantime, we'll start pulling up some images of some of his work. Here is a super funky piece he's made for a client. Very much outside of the box. And the stuff that he does is, very unique, quite different. And this piece really kind of depicts how different his stuff can be. And then, so there's some stuff. Here's an example, a little more classic. Oh, there he is. All right. Ken. All right, bear with us as he comes into the show here. I can't change my photos till he arrives now, so we'll talk about this piece for a second. And this would be kind of considered more classic within the millwork side of things, but tons of attention to detail in there, and it's a beautiful piece on its own. For some reason, it's not pulling them in quite yet, but let's just sit tight. Could be the Wi-Fi. You never know. Anyhow, so if you're planning a renovation, you're building a home, or you're sitting in your house now and you love it and don't want to make any changes, but you need some new furniture pieces, there's custom furniture. What does that mean? Does that mean you walk into the store and look for a piece that you think was made by some local artist or craftsman, or is something that you actually design, with someone specifically for your space? And I would vote that would be option number 2, where it's fully customized based on what you want as far as how you want it to look in your home, regardless of whether you're going to design your space around that furniture piece or whether that piece complements the space. Try this again here. Boy, oh boy. Technical difficulties. Okay, we'll try this again. I'd love to chat with Kelvin about some of these images because I've gone through his.
Hey, yo, coronavirus.
You made it. All right. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
All right. It's very practical PPE you have there. Absolutely.
Very, you got to drink your coffee.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, that doesn't work well. That's a picture of the bottom from shoulders down. Let's switch it up. I'm just looking through our photos here and trying to pick a nice background for us, and we can maybe talk a bit about things. But so I don't know if you heard the intro. So I basically chatted about how unique your work is. That's kind of to get to the point. I think most people that know you understand that already, but the idea of this show is to kind of open people's eyes and minds up to, what's available out there in the marketplace, and what a custom piece of furniture can mean for them and how it can improve the look of their home, right? And it's practical, right? But it should also be remarkable. So I guess for a second here, because I think a lot of people are super excited about the giveaway, let's talk a bit about how it's going to work for that. So, I said that to enter in, to qualify for the draw, enter the type of wood that's being used for the coffee table. So, I won't be too obvious about it, other than it might be, anyways, so you enter into the draw, there you go. What's the piece? How's it going to work, Kelvin?
You'll get entered into the draw. Whoever wins, we'll just, I'll make them a custom piece, and we can carve your name into it, or if you're going to gift it to somebody else, loved one or dad or grandma, friend, brother, sister, we could carve their name into there, or maybe somebody that's having a wedding or something like that, we can carve their names into that too.
That's if they want to pay it forward. And I guess if they want to just sit on it for themselves at home, then I guess, whatever, they can put their own initials in there.
Yeah.
I had a photo that showed that carving, but I don't know what the hell happened to it here. I might have accidentally wrote over it, but anyhow, so let's talk a bit about, I guess, what inspires you as far as you. Am I calling you an artist because I don't know what else to call the work that you do? Sure, you're a furniture maker and designer, and yeah, you do woodworking and carpentry, but I think that for the most part, it's safe to say that you're an artist within whatever it is you put your hands on. So where do you get your inspiration, or what makes you tick?
Everything, anything. I find everything fascinating. Mostly challenging things, ornate, Renaissance, old architecture, nature. It could be anything and everything. I like reading about techniques, art, old ways of doing things, and then incorporating it into new ways of doing things, and playing around with, exploring ideas and mashing ideas together.
Yeah. Let's look at this picture I have posted here. So tell me how this piece came to life. Like, it's a very simple concept, but at the same time, it's so unusual, and it makes it, very,
Oh,
very.
that piece, that was a pantry. So that went on all four walls. If you could see there, there's no brackets holding it up. I did have a picture of a buddy, Rick. He was on top, the top one there, and I think he's over 200 pounds, 6 feet. And that was just kind of flexing that everybody can tell you they could do floating shelves, but not everybody will engineer it so that there's zero deflection when there's a 6-foot guy with over 200 pounds on there. So it's all about engineering it and then actually, building it well.
Beauty. Yeah, absolutely. I have a few more photos I can show later that shows you doing kind of the strength test on some of your products. And yeah, certainly. There it is here. 3 dudes on a coffee table. That's got to be combined weight there. There's got to be close to, it's got to be 500-600 pounds in there. I know
almost 600. Enrico, me
boy.
and Aaron, maybe 500. Enrico, maybe 50 pounds. I don't know.
There you go. So that table up close, there's the legs for the coffee table. And in that picture, they're just balancing there.
Yep. Those are walnut with Paducah splines on the edge there. Yeah, I like the idea of those legs. They were exploring 2 different objects on their own, really unstable, and then sharing one common thing, like the tabletop, just like a relationship. In relationships have love, they share love and a commonality. Things are stronger together when they work together.
Well said. Here's that spline. Oh, my head's in the way on my end, but you can see in there that, like, just the joinery. That's, I don't know. Like, my dad's a cabinet maker, so I learned to really appreciate, a dovetail joint and other things like that that are beautiful and super strong at the same time. So some of us out there. Oh no, coronavirus in the house. Here's some other shots of some coffee tables. And what I liked about this series is that it showed, I think, a combination, a variety of options for us, the same legs, right? So here, I guess, what we call this, the V pattern. Is there a term for this?
No, not really. 2 swans, 2 black swans.
2 black swans, all right. Here they are, flipped. We call this 2 cranes fighting.
I don't know. Alien? I don't know.
Okay, there you go.
Just playing
Here's
around
another
with patterns and ideas.
Yeah.
That one there, yeah, it's a really versatile design. Actually, you can do anything. You can scale it up or down. Coffee table, dining table, a desk, minimal desk. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like, this is, I like this series of shots because it showed, it just doesn't have to be 4 legs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's so many different ways to build something, and I think really that's what a custom should be about, in creativity. And I think people should look at their space, and whether they're talking about their home and their walls and how things are built, or how you're going to furnish your space, like, there's always the opportunity to introduce some creativity into a design. And that's, I think, one of the things you've kind of, that best summarizes you and how you work, right?
Yep.
So, coffee tables. I mean, I just started poaching pictures from your Instagram feed. So anybody who wants to check out his work, you can see it on his feed. Yeah, I was supposed to post an image that had your feed information behind there. You know what? I'll have to get to it a bit later here. I didn't screenshot it onto my phone.
Just click up there.
There you go. Kelvin _Soo. Is that the double underscore, that one? That's the single.
Yeah, 2 underscores.
Okay, Kelvin _Soo. And then you'll find him on Instagram. And yeah, you can check out his work. And there's some really cool stuff on there in general. There we go. So what's this space?
Before my trim. That was
Yeah.
a unique space. Just playing around with funky design, minimal. That there, I wanted to explore like the minimal kind of like genre by not using trim. Most people use trim. When you ask anybody, they only just when you say, "Hey, well, I love minimal," and then you say, "What are you gonna do for your door trim?" They're like, "Oh no, 3-inch flat casing." So I wanted to explore using the wall and then going back and stepping everything back so that when the shadows that come from the light that hit it actually create all the detail from
Mm-hmm.
from no trim, like a minimal design.
Right. So I think, I mean, here, I mean, there's a really cool table you're sitting on, and there's some amazing archways and your approach to how you did it quite outside of the box again when it comes to how you're going to trim out a space, right? So again, there's so many layers here to talk about. Like those doors, they look amazing as an arch, as the finishing touch around it, and obviously we're incorporating different colors too within it. So on one level we have that, then we have this table. Tell me a bit about that.
The table is kind of like a mid-century modern, you know, that telephone table that they used to have with the little drawer there that you put your telephone book in there. It's really archaic, mixed with the Memphis Milano style, led by Tori Sotsas. Just mashing those two genres together and then coming out with a mid-century Memphis design. Where in today's age we don't need that telephone book anymore and we don't need that telephone little desk. So it's kind of modernizing, I guess, the two eras, I guess, if they had a baby.
Yeah, there you go. We got a few comments and a question here, so bear with me for a second.
Yeah, I'll get you sour keys, buddy, later.
Right. I got Angie Hutchison asking how I know Kelvin. So I know Kelvin through the Vignettes design series. So we worked, we didn't work together on that, but I guess there is kind of a collective of people helping each other out. And yeah, that was a pretty cool event, you know. Yeah, that's how we met. Da-da-da-da. So I got someone also, Angie, asking if you do fireplace mantles and surrounds.
Yeah, do millwork too, like diaper money, you know. But I also, yeah, I do, you know, baseboards, hang doors, interior spaces, millwork, custom cabinets, entertainment units, furniture. Um, yeah, yeah, that's diaper money. But I like the furniture stuff and the really unique, challenging things a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. Same with our projects too. You know, we have some jobs we do because
Engage.
they're to what we do.
No, I
And
made one of the clients here turned into an awesome friend, Val Horak. There, I made her a giant black door with 5 windows in there.
oh yeah,
Yeah, if you browse down my Instagram, you'll see a big, huge, giant door, almost the size of a garage door.
well, that's a big door.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I just want to pull up. There's that really cool this piece, and I bring it up because it's such a like pop out kind of in your face. It's bright and colorful, but it's also such a unique piece. And I know that it's got a bit of a story. And like, how does it work for you when you have, you know, a client comes to you and they want a piece and they want you to build something custom for them? What's your process?
We sit down for coffee or lunch, and then we throw around ideas. I get them to give me words, how they want their place to feel. I get a sense of what colors they like, what movies they like, what they drive. Just this gives me kind of like their whole kind of character, and then I kind of like we throw around ideas until I spit out something that's, I guess, interpretation, a solid interpretation of, I guess, their character, I guess, or what they
Right.
want that space to feel like.
So in this particular piece, so it started somewhere here, right? So this is
Yep.
in your shop. Um, so how does it evolve? I guess it's something that you have a concept in your mind you come up with, and you follow kind of an instinctual um, idea that you have, and it just evolves, or does it kind of evolve on its own along the way? Like, or do you just unveil a
Uh,
piece at the end?
a lot of times it evolves. Sometimes we go with one concept, and then over the course of the design, I'm always thinking I could make it better, better, better. So usually it always ends up like, sometimes usually evolving from what we originally kind of had in the concept. But usually when that happens, it's always better than intended. If you're not like, I'm happy with it, you're usually, I'm fucking happy with it.
Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. Let's pull this shot up for a second here. I know that when I was at Vignettes last year checking it out, and I saw these stools there, and I was like, oh, these are cool. And then it turns out you made them. So how did these come to life? Because this is obviously
Those were Amanda from Linger Design. She was doing vignettes, as we all have done in Edmonton here, and she came to me with this concept, and she said, asked if I could make them for her, and I made them for her. Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're really, I don't know, they're super unique stools.
yeah, absolutely. So what about, like, I know that, guys, I hate coming back to vignettes again, but the last year that you participated in there with you and Bob, you guys, there was a two-man team. You guys did basically everything together in there, from upholstery to all the millwork. Like, like, are there any limitations to what you do and take on? And is there, like, how hands-on
Yeah,
do you get into all this?
I think the biggest limitation is time.
Okay.
Other than that, there's no limitation. It's just time. Yeah.
All right. So when you built these stools, like, you did all the upholstery, you select all the materials, or that you work with someone when they have kind of an inspiration on that, or how
Yep.
does
I
that?
worked with Amanda, and she came. We went to the fabric stores. We went fabric shopping. Matching, leather with this upholstery, with that upholstery. Stepping back, looking at it, and then changing things up to try to perfect the perfect design or the most aesthetic design within the time frame.
Gotcha. Okay. Um, let's talk about these corbels for a second. I've seen them in a video in some of the work that you do. So what's the story behind the corbel? Of course, my head's in the way here. I don't know if anybody else.
Those angel head corbels were made for a 14-foot island for the legs. I made 4 of them, actually 5. 4 on the 14-foot island with a Italian Carrera top. And then I designed them a coffee bar with that on the side. And then I incorporated that into a liquor unit, liquor cabinet that was a secret door into a funky room. Yeah, and I think I had the last week, no, 2 weeks ago there, I had a client come in, seen those, and now that's gonna be an upcoming desk, pretty cool desk with those as the legs, but I'm not sure if he's he might want the angel head, but I think he's leaning towards a griffin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you, like, that component of it? And I don't want to get too much into the trade secrets here, but, like, how do you actually decide? Like, are these something like are you carving these things? Are these something that?
Yeah, that's all. So the original one is made, and then it's casted, and then the angel head, now whenever I need it, I just cast it. But now I think I'm gonna cast those corbels in concrete. So whenever I need a whole corbel, it's just pour it in concrete and make, I don't know, maybe it'll be a thing. Somebody might want a corbel table on top of their skinny house or something like that.
Yeah, and there you go. And here's those stools in that vignettes. What they call those vignettes? Booth vignettes. I don't know what they call them. In the vignette, I guess.
Vignettes, yeah.
Yeah. That little secret door. So that's the one. I think I have the video on here. I'm going to try and show the video just to give some people an understanding of, what you can do here. So here's a video Kelvin sent me. So you have that liquor cabinet. So you think it is a liquor cabinet. Whoa. Secret doorway.
It was a fun project.
This is for a commercial client?
Yeah, that's their office. Actually, two different companies' office. The one that you're seeing right now is the landlord of that building, and the front one is a mobility company, Simplex Mobility. Their temp pad.
Yeah, pretty cool. Secret door. I'm a fan.
Thanks.
All right. We'll mix it up here with some diversity within the pieces. And this image didn't crop well here, but I liked all that hand beaten copper there, which I was hoping to see more of in the image. But Instagram here, it always crops them slightly away from how I want them to look. So is a mantle? What is this?
That is a liquor bar. So that's the top half of the liquor bar, and where you can see through in the back there, where you see all the shop tables. So that got covered by a mirror. The top was copper, and I hand beat that, hand hammered that until it was all. It looked like a natural kind of like the veins in a leaf, kind of beating and hammering that in places just to get that perfect peak, and then patinaing it with a black patina.
Awesome. Let's talk about this giveaway item again. So for those of you just joining in, Kelvin has offered up a free coffee table as the giveaway prize today, which is remarkable. So if you can enter in here the material, the type of wood that he's going to use for the top of the coffee table, you're entered into the draw. And he will custom build this thing for you and probably have it ready. We figured, 4 to 6 weeks from now?
Yeah, about there. Yeah.
Yeah. So usually a piece like this would probably be in the $2,000 range, and Kelvin's very generously offered that up. So if you know the type of wood, enter it in the comments. You'll be entered into the draw. We'll announce the winner about 10 minutes before the end of the show today, around 1:50. All right. So I know that one of your focus right now is building furniture pieces. Yeah, but you do so much more than just that. But in our conversations yesterday, you showed me the wine rack squiggle, and I was like, "What's the wine rack squiggle?" And then you sent me this image over, and I can see why it's called that. Super cool. Where did an idea for this come from?
That squiggle has always been around in like design, like Memphis, usually in Memphis, that you have that squiggle in there. A lot of like illustrations have those squiggles, but I liked it, so I wanted to make it a thing. Actually, I want to define it more and explore it more as I'd say put a definition to that squiggle and kind of have it kind of reflect life, because life is a series of up and down, just like a squiggle, right? If you hook ourselves up to like a heart machine, what do you get? You get an up and down, up and down. It's pretty much that line is the most minimal explanation of life. Life is a series of up and down. Yeah, and if you're dead, it's just a flat line.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Let's look at this little piece here for a second. So can you tell me a bit about this?
That's a maple burl, Manitoba maple, and or box elder. Got that piece and then I cut it up and turned it into a little tiny bowl. It's kind of like a little pinch bowl, or if you want to put coins into, just for a hall table maybe, or on a coffee table, you know, throw little tiny gadgets or money in there if you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really cool. I had the photo of that big knot there that I wanted to show, but it didn't load onto my phone here like I hoped. So anyhow, I guess on the other end of the spectrum, then, aside from the the furniture pieces, I guess I was assuming that in this the privacy screen was something that you'd worked on there.
Yeah, the privacy screen, that pony wall, kind of a really minimal 70s bench there. Kind of just went with that kind of whole feel. They like the mid-century feel, so you kind of brought that mid-century to their house.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a different image of it, but similar way it's cropping in there. All right, and here we've got let's see, a little bar area, or
yep, that one is walnut with brass and Sahara Noir marble. That was for that same house, and then again, that mirror there on top has the hand-beaten copper with a black patina, and then as a racing stripe behind your head there is a leather wallpaper, black leather with brass. Looked really sharp when it was all done.
Very nice. So I guess my goal here of showing the variety of things that you can do is to help people understand what is available out there without them even knowing it, right? How anything in your home can be really outside the box and can be truly unique. And I think when you sit down and work with someone like Kelvin, that's, I think, where the real opportunity is to explore that, what can be done. And we aren't all born with the skill set that you have and the talent to do that. So it's great when you're able to meet someone who can help draw out a reflection of your taste, your style, your personality within a piece of furniture or artwork or whatever it might be. So, my whole goal with this show is to help people understand what their options are, and and to be able to ultimately get a better end result, whether it's a project or a piece or a painting or whatever. Don't necessarily just settle for what's considered normal and standard out there, because there's so much more that can be done.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a couple little interesting pieces you made as well. Looks like that might be from the same chunk of wood there, some of that.
Yep, definitely. That's all just playing around with the lathe and turning. Actually, it's super fun.
Nice. I got the original Ninja Martini is asking what your favorite wood species to work with might be.
I would say mahogany and sapele. I think it's so beautiful to work with. Yeah.
Nice. Got a question here. I'm gonna try to open that up. All right. I got another piece here. Actually, was interesting. This looks like a little corner table there, or
yep, that's a hall table, a floating burl hall table with walnut, solid walnut drawer and a maple burl face. Just one second, I'm just going to close this door.
Okay. All right, we got someone asking to show some scale on those vases, but I don't think I have an image that will reflect the scale properly. But let me pull that picture open again. So on those vases, what do you think the sizing would be on those things?
Oh, those are tiny, tiny, tiny. They're miniature. I'm just playing around with miniatures right now. I kind of like the miniatures. They're super cute. Just for that kind of one-off, if you're gone for a stroll in the forest or a hike with your kid and they pick that little flower that you want to keep for the day, it's perfect for that. You throw that little dandelion your kid picked for you and just, have it, just savor it for that day or a couple days or whatever.
Nice. What's the story with the whale?
The whale was, I just had a chunk of wood in the shop and I said, fuck, I'm gonna make a whale today. So I made a fucking whale today.
All right. Well, we gotta try to keep the show G-rated here, or
Oh, yeah,
maybe
okay.
PG.
Okay,
I don't know about
PG.
G, but
Yeah,
maybe OGs.
yeah.
All right. Okay. So I guess as far as for people who want to reach out and talk to you a bit about getting into custom piece made, what's the best way for them to do that?
You could inbox me on Instagram, or if you have my phone number, you can message me. Yeah, message me on Instagram, and I'll reply.
Okay. And then how does that start, that conversation?
Um, However you want to start it. Yo, I don't know. Hey, I have a space in my place. I'm looking to do this or that, and then we can go from there, and then we can start playing.
Okay. Is there a fee for a consult initially to kind of come up with an idea? Like, do you provide a quote for an idea, or do you typically work within an allowance?
I work within an allowance. I usually try to get a budget from the person, what they're intending on spending. That way, if you have $20, then I can show you what $20 can get you at the candy store, right? If you don't have a budget, then it's really tough to design something without a budget because if you don't have a budget, then like, what if I come back and design something and said $2 million, and you're like, holy shit, or shipperonis. Well, $2 million. Well, you didn't tell me your budget. I made it in diamonds and
Yeah,
gold, right? So that's what we're asking when we ask you your budget. We're asking what your budget is so we can know how realistically we can design for you and incorporate the right materials for your budget.
absolutely. And we're in the same boat, within what we do in renovations is we always ask for a budget up front for a project. So we understand what their expectations might be or how connected to reality they are as
Hey,
far as
Shannon.
understanding, what the cost of that desired scope might be. Like these shelves, for example, I mean, this could have been as simple as floating IKEA shelves on the wall. That would be one very, that's the cheapest way to probably do that. What you've done here is the polar opposite, where it's still very practical shelving, but it's also in, like very much creative and artistic within its execution too. So, I mean, you get what you pay for, right? If you're
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah, no, it's just flexing the how well done it was. That picture there doesn't show how strong it really is. I'm not sure if you ever got that picture, but there's a picture. If you scroll deep down into my Instagram feed, there's one of my buddies that's sitting on the top shelf, and there's no bend in that shelf.
Yeah, well, and that's, I guess, again, outside of the materials and the actual design, there's how it's constructed, right? Because there's always like a code minimum, and then there's a best practice. And I think that, I'm a big fan and believer of best practice. Do it as best as you can, build it so it can last, and that's the right way to do it. But that's going to cost more than the minimum requirement to make it pass an inspection, right? So I think that's a key thing people consider too, is when you're approaching somebody about any type of work, whether it's a furniture piece or a cabinet or it's a project in general. If you just want, brad nailed butt joints versus a spline or a dovetail or like, there's a huge difference in price there and a huge difference in quality, right?
Yep, it's all time, right? Yeah, it's just how much time you want somebody to spend on your project. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, if you want your table, which has got, they're quite narrow legs, if you want it to hold up 750 pounds of these three dudes combined, maybe not 750, but like it's got to be built right.
Yeah.
That is definitely not an IKEA special.
No, well, it's just more impressive when you're actually engineering it a little bit, and then doing it in wood, like that could be probably done in metal, right? Like with welds and stuff like that. But it's just so much more impressive when somebody's taking the time to actually engineer what looks like it shouldn't hold almost 600 pounds. Like I'm so tempted to throw a fourth person on there and see if it could do another person on there.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, it'd be a shame to find the breaking point, but it would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess as far as like when you have a project and somebody approaches you about whatever, a concept for, let's talk about coffee tables again, I suppose. Seems like it's the right theme for the show. How does it work as far as selecting the materials go? Like, does somebody usually request the material, or do you come up with a recommendation based on whether what you have in stock or what you're inspired to do? How does that work?
No, usually it's a request, whatever their choice in wood is, and then the budget also, if it fits their budget, right? Or sometimes I look around their space and kind of like tie everything in, try to tie it with whatever it can accent with another piece in their house or their place or their office or whatever, right? Yeah, unless they want it like as a conversation piece and actually pop out, then we can play, right?
Absolutely. Let's talk about the giveaway again. We're about 10 minutes away from making that draw. So this week, Kelvin has very graciously offered up a custom-made coffee table that he will make specifically for you. I don't know if there's a conversation you'll have with this winner, or if you just gonna kind of knock it out based on how you feel inspired to do so. But 3 to 4 weeks after the show, you will then receive this custom made piece from Kelvin. To qualify for the draw, you need to enter the material type for the wood that will be used to build the table. You look through the comments, some people have entered it, and the correct answer is there. I won't give the obvious clue this time around. You guys can look back through the comments. So thanks so much for doing that, Kelvin. It's awesome. I mean, I know my wife and I were both like, oh, we can't enter. But maybe we'll get you to make a piece for us someday here. All right. What else, aside from furniture, what else do you like to do? I know that, we've shown a few different images of what you build, but what else do you do to express yourself creatively?
More furniture. No, it's joking. I like playing basketball, just reading on woodworking and furniture, basketball, sports, hanging out. That's, yeah.
Right on. You do any painting or drawing, things like that?
Not for a long time, but I can. When I was a kid, yeah, lots of, drawing, doodling, sculpting, painting, yeah.
Yeah, I think I've seen a couple, well, I guess they're not really sculptures, but, I guess carvings like that. The doorway into the vignettes there, into the seahorse room there, that was a pretty cool carving. Again, I have a bunch of pictures that I loaded on my phone, but for some reason aren't here, so I'm sorry I can't show these images. But again, go back to Kelvin Soo, and you'll find his Instagram feed, and you can find a bunch of photos. And I will on my feed over the next week or so, I'll post some of your photos as well and share them out there. So that'll help to spread around a bit of your portfolio, I suppose. People can see what you do. Okay, so what are you working on right now? I know that you're a busy guy. You have any projects you want to give us a little bit of a sneak peek into?
Working on custom 16-foot cherry raised panel arches in Cameron Heights there. Another truss ceiling detail for another client there in Sherwood Park. Some coffee tables, a desk, super custom unique desk. We're throwing around ideas right now. Lots. The list is crazy. A copper sink for another client. Gonna be doing a copper drop-in sink and sculpting a Medusa head on the front because to match his Versace tiles in his bathroom. Well, playing around with that. Yeah, some fun stuff.
Cool. Here's a shot you sent me of a vanity you made.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a, what's that? That's a high gloss. What kind of
That's
wood is that?
a high gloss acrylic panel. And yeah, that was a fun one. That one was for a client out in St. Albert. That was a fun client too. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So, as you can hear, like the work that Kelvin does is very, very, very varied, right? From furniture pieces more to some decor, to then millwork, into cabinet making, into architectural details. So, I mean, I think it's something that people need to think about when you're considering your project or changing the look of your home, or maybe you're doing a new build, is think about who are you going to include in the design and execution of your project, right? Do you want out of the box thinkers, or are you happy with something that is maximize your spend for dollar on what would be considered nice but not progressive, right? And I think like we see a lot of clients who want something unique and remarkable within their space, and that might be from an imported tile that's a specialty item to a very fancy countertop to an architectural detail or some interesting curvatures in their stairwells or what it might be. But then on the flip side, you have the design side of it, the decor side and furniture, where, I mean, the world's your oyster, right? You get in touch with a guy like Kelvin, and well, it'd be tough to establish some boundaries there, right? I mean, I think if most people have a budget, right? So, and a timeline. Someone needs to be in a house by a certain time. So Kelvin's one man. He can't do it all. I guess he could if he had unlimited time, but most of us don't. So,
Time. Yeah.
Just give some thought to who you're going to, work with, what kind of pieces you want, and truly how unique and individualized you want them to be. What are your goals here for the coming years for you and your business, Kelvin?
My goals, just do more furniture, custom furniture, and pieces that mean more. I want to play with clients that want pieces that mean something rather than spend their money at big box stores and then just throw it away. I want them to have something that they can pass to their kids, because realistically, nobody's going to be giving their IKEA dining room table to their kid. Nobody's going to be fighting over that. I want to just do more furniture or more pieces that are really unique and more intimate with clients.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. This is, I just bring this picture up here because there's another great example of, this is a ceiling, right? Look
Yeah.
up at your ceiling now. Like, not many people have a ceiling like this in their space, right? Now, there's a lot of detail in this, and it's not a very good photo. I apologize for that. But, I mean, from accent paint color, nice and rich, to then all of this millwork in there. Like, where do you get the inspiration for this? I mean, I wish I had a better image to show. But yeah, I mean, that was an amazing space. I don't know why you didn't win, but anyways, that's a whole other conversation. Let's not get into that.
No, that ceiling there. Actually, you can probably catch it in the next coming months over at River City Tile. That's going to be in their space, in their showroom there.
Nice.
Yeah.
And all that detail, that's like, how is that? Is that something you're able to, like, how much of that stuff is like, do you have a concept for that, and you go and pick out those accent items? Or do you produce
No,
those
we
whole
just made
things?
it. Me and Bob, we made that. Oh God, that took so many hours to do between the CNC and building it and painting it. Just the two of us. Oh my God, that was a lot of work. Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're getting close to the end of the show. That draw is going to come soon, so we'll do last call on the coffee table giveaway. So Kelvin's donated a coffee table as the giveaway item this week. If you can enter in the comments the material type of what the coffee table will be made of, then you're entered into the draw. It'll probably hold 3 dudes. It does not come with 3 dudes. Well, it depends, I guess, on side deal with Kelvin, I suppose. But so enter the material type in there, and we'll make the draw probably in a few minutes here. Melissa, my marketing person, does a little random draw and then texts me over the person. So it's always a surprise to me. If I know them, fantastic. You need to be in the Edmonton area. If you're not, then you'll be stuck paying shipping. But otherwise, you can pick it up from Kelvin from his shop most likely, and that'll be about 4 to 6 weeks from now. The guy needs some time to build it for you. So, all right. How often do you work with general contractors like me?
Often. I do millwork too, custom built-ins, doors, baseboards, everything. Yeah, the majority of the 20 years was a lot of GCs and builders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that like we all have to pay our bills and like I look at millwork, right? Some of it can be if somebody wants flat stock MDF around their whole house, that's one thing. I look at a built-in piece like this and go, okay, to me that's fun. Like I like when the clients want something like this built in. So I think that gives you a chance to express yourself as well. Tell us a bit about this piece.
That was a super fun client in St. Albert. That acrylic panel that you've seen with the cement tile in the basement there, that vanity was in the basement of this house here. But yeah, this guy was super, like most of my clients they all turn into friends. Yeah, he was super fun and he was open to ideas and just let me do what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that MDF primarily?
Yeah, that's all MDF, and then I think they lacquered it or painted that, and then on the bottom there they used a brass netting, and then that chandelier is a pearl and brass chandelier. Yeah.
Yeah, very nice.
And yeah, all the doors were made, handmade on site. Everything was made there. All the trim was made. Everything was made there. Yeah.
Very good. Again, truly custom. We'll bounce back to these doors again, or these archways, just because I think that's another great example of when you're considering your renovation. Your biggest choice when it comes to your doors isn't what door profile and what casing style you want. I think it's a matter of how do you really want your space to look, right? So, I think you can look outside the box a bit and look at this as a good example of a great detail that was a game changer for the space, right?
Yeah, but this actually design here, I want to play with if there is clients out there that with a space something like this, maybe where that pink is the color is not for everybody, but it was intended to be an Airbnb, and my idea was if you want it to be an Airbnb, the best promotion is having somebody take a selfie in these spaces that are truly unique. So that's why I made it a little bit funky. But if it was a more serious space, exploration of leather walls, brass for where the pink is, maybe wallpaper where the blue is, custom wood doors, that would be super awesome, I think, if somebody's open to explore new ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. I think well, we know they're out there, right? Just not everyone is willing and able to, to think outside the box like this, right? And don't get it yet, and that's okay. I mean, we need classic spaces too. I just posted Kelvin's Instagram handle there, so it's Kelvin _Soo, and you can look him up on his Instagram page. I usually have a nice little background I put up now with the contact details, but something's happened with it here. So, yeah. Anyhow, we have a winner, and I know this guy, and he actually deserves to win this thing, only because he did me such a solid last week. He came and did a repair for me at my office at no charge. Yeah, Kevin Cordy. He is the owner of Butler Plumbing.
Sweet.
He is the winner. So that's awesome. I think they're a great contractor. We'll have Kevin on the show soon, talk about plumbing, and it's far more exciting than you might think. But you and him definitely should connect and talk, because he works in a lot of homes where people could probably use someone like you on their projects too. So good network there. So
awesome.
Anyhow, congratulations, Kevin. I know there's a lot of disappointed people out there, I'm sure, but I'm happy to hear it was you. Uh-oh, Sylvia Sue. My name is not Kevin. That your sister?
Yeah, that's my sister there. Yeah, she does custom leather work.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
nice. Right on. Oh, Kevin, it's yelling sweet. All right. If there's any questions out there, feel free to hit us up. We got 5 minutes till the end of the show, and now it's just kind of chance for us to have some banter back and forth here. So, any questions, fire away. We'll be able to get Kelvin to address them. We've got Kenny from Renovations saying lots of love to both of us. Thanks, Ken.
What's up, Kenny?
All right. You got any thoughts of the day?
What's that?
You got any deep thoughts for the day you want to share?
Deep thoughts for the day. I don't know what's going on.
Nothing too political.
No, nothing too political. Yeah, no, nothing. Just left foot in front of the right foot, and then repeat. That's about it, really.
Yeah. There you go. Hey, do you have anybody that inspires you? Are there any artists out there or other makers of some sort that you recognize in the community as stand out and that you want to give a shout out to?
There's a whole bunch. If I name one, that means I'm leaving out a whole bunch. I would rather say there's a lot of awesome craftsmen and artists around Edmonton. If you kind of creep our feeds and our friends there, there's a lot of us, smaller guys that could use the work. And yeah, no, there's a lot of craftsmen out there, and it's worth exploring and reaching out to all the small guys.
For sure. If anybody has any projects in mind, you can reach out to me happily, and I can share with you people I think might be able to help you out. If you're looking for somebody like Kelvin, well, there's nobody like Kelvin, but talented people who do different specific things, right? So I had a question here actually came in from another Kelvin I know at Clearly Financials. What was the epiphany where you realized you could turn your passion into a career?
No, I've been always good at, I don't know, I like what I do, so it's not really, I don't know, I make money at what I do, and I like what I do, so it's kind of no-brainer, I think. Yeah.
I think I know, like, we chatted a bit last week there, and you're saying how, you've really worked hard over the last few years to establish yourself as, a creative mind and doing some really unique and high-quality work. And you've done a great job with that now, because you certainly are, well known in that regard, right?
Thanks. Yep. Yeah, it's a lot of years of just playing around and not doing mainstream and not just following money, I guess, and just playing around with your own concepts and colors and exploration of things that not everybody's doing, and just kind of building that kind of reputation up, right? If you do the same thing as everybody, then you're just white noise, right?
Absolutely. No, I agree 100%. So anybody out there, you're thinking about a custom furniture piece, you're thinking about trying to make your space stand out as remarkable, or you want to bring some meaning into your space, I think it's worth reaching out to a guy like Kelvin to do that. If you have a bigger project in mind and you need someone to oversee it and help pull together the right artists and makers and all that stuff, then that's reach out to me and I can help assemble the right team for you and your project. Even if you're a DIYer, you're thinking about taking on your own reno, if you need advice, feel free to give me a call at the office and we can set up a time for a chat, and I can help steer you around those landmines that are out there that many DIYers run into who haven't been through it quite as many times as we have. So we got about 45 seconds left. It'll shut us down. Kevin's asking if you do any work in vans.
Actually, I'm talking with a lady that just bought a bowler, and we're kind of going back and forth yesterday with some interior stuff on a bowler. Yeah, so that might be fun.
Awesome. Sounds like fun for sure. All right. Well, thanks a lot for joining us, Kelvin. I appreciate you making some time for me, and and for sharing a bit about yourself and what you do. And I'm excited to find ways to try and get you out there into my network for sure. So if you have any questions for me out there, you can call my office, 780-455-4446. Get Kelvin on his Instagram, Kelvin _Soo. We got 3 seconds left.